everyone, and welcome to the Boxcryptor for Teams webinar. My name is Elizabeth, and I will be your host today. The goal of the webinar today is to show you what Boxcryptor is, how it works, how you can implement it within your own infrastructure, get the best tips and practices on setting up the company trial on your site, and also see how the account administrator account, how does it look like. So with no further ado, let's start with the simple introduction of the website and what are the most important things that you would note upon checking out a Boxcryptor. So first of all, I would like to go to the download section and share the information that here is the place where you would download your Boxcryptor software. The website detects automatically the operating system that you're working with. So for example, in my case, as I have Windows, I can directly download the Boxcryptor for a Windows version. It is also available for macOS, and in case you or your team members might have mobile devices on which they're typically working with the sensitive data, so you can also download the Boxcryptor app on Android and iOS. There is also the portable version, which is, for example, when you either don't have administrator permissions on your machine or you are working with Linux devices. And there is also the Boxcryptor for Teams app, which is what you are installing when you are using Microsoft Teams for your internal and external collaboration. And while doing that, you're also exchanging sensitive data. Okay, so first of all, once we have downloaded Boxcryptor on our side, what you will see is this. So Boxcryptor will automatically detect any cloud storage providers that you're currently syncing locally on your device. So I have several on my side. You might have either one or maybe also several as well, in case you have split the data in different locations. What you also have a chance to add here is any, let's say, local file shares, or if you have external hard drives or even USB sticks. So this is available when you go to the Boxcryptor icon and click on the settings, and you come over to the locations section. So as I said, any data that is considered to be sensitive on your site can be encrypted with Boxcryptor, and you have a chance to do this in several locations on your site, including also a simple folder which is on your machine. So as soon as you see the cloud storage provider, this doesn't mean that automatically everything will be encrypted. It means that from this moment on, you can choose what type of data would you like to encrypt. So I will use OneDrive as an example for the demo today, and I will show you the Boxcryptor view on the right side. And this is my cloud account with OneDrive on the left side, so that you would see that I have the same structure on both sides. So how do we work with Boxcryptor? What we can do at this point is create a new folder, and Boxcryptor is going to ask me if I want to encrypt this folder. I will choose the encrypt option, and in case you would like to skip this step and make sure that your team members, while creating new data within the Boxcryptor virtual drive, they don't click on the other option, do not encrypt. So you can skip this step by activating a policy which will require encryption for any data that is created within the Boxcryptor virtual drive. So in the process of encrypting the data, Boxcryptor doesn't show something like a loading bar or anything else that might distract the users. It is working on the background, and this green mark that you're currently seeing here, the green square, shows us that the folder has been encrypted. From this point on, it's actually Microsoft that is transferring the data to the cloud. So as soon as the synchronization happens, we will be able to see the new folder also on the cloud side. So let me just refresh it in case it doesn't pops up immediately. It usually happens pretty fast. Okay, at one point, I guess that we will see it so that I will be able to show you how does that look like on the cloud side as well. In the meantime, what we do have when we create the folder as options from Boxcryptor is by doing a right click over the folder and going to the Boxcryptor menu, we can check out the Manage Permissions section. So this is the place where you would specify which users would have access to the data that goes inside of this folder. You can do this by setting the access permissions for every individual user by simply adding their email address here. And of course, we assume that you have already added the user under your Boxcryptor team plan before you assign the access permissions. Or what you could also do is assign directly the group permissions. So for example, if this folder that I have just created is going to hold the data for the management team, and I have, let's say, 10 people within the management team, if I go ahead and assign the access permissions for each person, I will have to do this 10 times. And also the synchronization that we were waiting on from Microsoft to happen, which already happened as I speak. So here is the new folder. And instead of waiting for this to happen like 10 different times, what you could do is use the group feature instead and assign the group access permissions. By doing this, you will not just save some time, but also the synchronization from Microsoft, or for example, if you're working with Dropbox or Google Drive or any other cloud storage provider. So this will be done only once. And it will be also easier from a management point of view, group management, I mean, because for example, if you remove a person from the group from your administrator account, also this will be reflected into the access permission. So this person won't have access to the data anymore. Okay, so this is how we practically share the access to the files. So as I said, everything that goes within this folder, as the folder is previously encrypted, will be also automatically encrypted. And I will show you how does that look like by taking, let's say, a test file that I have on my side and putting it into the encrypted folder. So let me go back and show you how does this look like on the cloud side. So this is the folder that I have just created and encrypted. And here it is also on the OneDrive, on the cloud account in OneDrive. And here is the file that I have just added. Let me open it so that you can see it on both sides. So in addition to the file getting this green square, which shows you that it is already encrypted, on the cloud side, what we do see is this extension .bc. So this is one way which you can use to distinguish which data has been encrypted and which data hasn't been encrypted. As the encryption of the files with Boxcryptor happens locally, so this is why you initially install Boxcryptor as a software on your machine. What happens is that after the encryption has been done, Microsoft, because in my case, I'm using OneDrive as an example. In your case, it might be some other cloud storage provider, but Microsoft transfers the data to the cloud, and upon arriving on their servers, the data is already protected. That means that, for example, if Microsoft tries to access something that you are storing on their side, but you have previously encrypted with Boxcryptor, this is the only thing that they would see. which is practically nothing. The same is valid, for example, if I was an intruder and I have breached into this OneDrive account. So now I see that the data is here, but when I try to do something with it, nothing could be done. And in addition to this, because Boxcryptor as the vendor of the software doesn't know what kind of password do you set for your user account, and your password itself is directly associated with the encryption keys that you have for your user account, there is no way that we could see what kind of data do you encrypt with Boxcryptor. So with the combination of everything that I have mentioned so far, it means that when you have a third-party encryption tool, in addition to what you already use from the cloud storage provider, you are basically keeping full control of your company data. You decide if you would like to give specifically access to some of the files to your team members or any external collaborators, for example, in case you're working on different projects. So now, directly connected with the topic of the external collaborators, let's say if you want to share this file with somebody that is not part of your organization, and by some reason you don't want to add this person as a user under your Boxcryptor team plan. Let's say you don't want to spare one of your Boxcryptor user seats, or you just don't want to waste any time to explain how to install the software, how it is used, etc., despite of the fact that it's pretty simple to use, as you can see. So there is also a solution for this situation. What you could do is once again, click on the encrypted file as it is in your cloud storage provider. That is the right click. Go to the Boxcryptor menu and choose the Create Wisply link. So Wisply is another security product that we have developed, and it's fully incorporated within Boxcryptor. Its usage is specifically made for sharing encrypted data with external people, something that you typically don't do on daily basis, because if you do the file exchange pretty active, daily or almost daily, what you would do is you would add your collaborator as a user under your Boxcryptor team account. But in cases where you're sharing files, let's say, not so often, once every 2 weeks or once per month, something like that, so you can use Wisply. It's quite similar to what you would do, for example, when you want to share file from your OneDrive. You create a public link which you give forward to the person which you are sharing the file. So this is similar as a procedure, but with the main difference that you are currently sharing an encrypted data with an external person. So after clicking on the Wisply link, what you would do is you will just wait for Boxcryptor to finish the procedure, and Boxcryptor will automatically bring you to Wisply's website, where you can choose some extra options like expiry date or one-time download, or even add a PIN or a password, so that you will be sure that it is only that person that you are sending the link to which will be able to download the data. So I will use just the link for the demo today, and that's it. So let's assume that I have sent this link to the external recipient. What the person needs is just a browser with an internet connection, nothing more. So in this case, when you're sharing this Wisply link with external people, they don't need to have Boxcryptor installed on their side. All they need is the link, or if you have added a PIN or a password, so that they would use this. But otherwise, if not, if they have the link, this is what will happen. They will enter the link into their address bar, and they will get immediately the chance to download the file on their site. So the decryption is happening directly on through the browser, and they will download the file on their device. And what happens now is that you have securely sent a file to an external person. If this file has been amended by the external person and he or she needs to send it back to you, because initially we are talking about file that contains sensitive data, and this is why you're using something else so that this data will be protected. So you can also ask the external collaborator to come over to Whisply's website and do the same procedure so that he or she would be able to send this file back securely to you. So in this case, you would be the recipient, and you will be able to download the file directly on your site. But in your case, as you already have Boxcryptor installed and you're using it, what you could do is you can directly download the file in one of your folders, in one of your encrypted folders. So what you're doing in this case is closing the loop of the secure exchange. So this is relevant for the external change, and something else that I would also like to mention for the internal usage. For example, when you already have the data encrypted, what you could do is to add another layer of security. For example, if you don't want to show even the file name to the people who don't have Boxcryptor access, so that if somebody sees the data, for example, they shouldn't know that that the content of this file is actually your annual finance report. So in order for you to do this is go to the Boxcryptor menu, once again, right-click Boxcryptor, and then enable the file name encryption. So once again, you're clicking through the options, and what Boxcryptor will do now is it will transform the name into a random string of characters without any meaning. It's really practically random characters that hold the name of your file, but it is unreadable, for example, for people that don't have Boxcryptor access. So on your side, through your Boxcryptor virtual drive, you will always be able to read the file name as it is. But for example, for anybody else who doesn't have Boxcryptor access to it, or he or she is trying to access the file through the cloud, it won't be possible. The usage through the cloud account, let's say if you have Microsoft, then you're working with OneDrive and the data is encrypted. So the usage through the cloud is not possible of the encrypted data. You always have to come over to your OneDrive location through the Boxcryptor virtual drive. This virtual drive is really virtual. It is not taking anything from your space on your device, but it is the layer through which the encryption happens. So whenever you have new data, for example, if you want to place it into an encrypted folder, you have to do this through the virtual drive. You can't, if you go ahead and place the data directly in the cloud or into your original OneDrive location, which you're also syncing locally, so the files are not going to be encrypted. You, once again, you always have to use the virtual drive from Boxcryptor. If you would like to make sure that your users don't make the mistake to come over to the OneDrive location that you're also currently syncing locally on your machine, what you could do is, for example, is to hide the original OneDrive location from the drives view, so that the people would only see the OneDrive location through the Boxcryptor virtual drive. Okay, so that's it for the file name encryption. So at one point, if you decide to remove it if you don't want to use it anymore by some reason, or you just wanted to check it out how it looks like, and then you don't want to have it active anymore. Once again, you would do right-click Boxcryptor, and you can disable the file name encryption, which Boxcryptor now would return back the original name of the file. So basically that is everything related to the Boxcryptor software from the user point of view. What I would like to show you is also the Boxcryptor for Teams app, in case, as I said, you have collaboration, internal or external collaboration through Microsoft Teams on your side. So once the Boxcryptor app is installed by your Teams administrator, and he or she signs into the Boxcryptor app at least once so that it would be visible for your users, you will be able to find Boxcryptor on 3 places. First of all, it's here on the left side as your personal app, which makes a direct connection to your OneDrive. So everything that I have on my OneDrive here, all of my folders, the folder structure is also visible through Boxcryptor in my Teams. So we even see, let's say here, the folder that I have just created for the demo today. The other place where you're able to see Boxcryptor is here on the top as a channel app, which gives you an opportunity to encrypt any data that you typically share within your channel. For example, if you have different channels for all of your teams and they exchange sensitive data, instead of going to the file section, once you have Boxcryptor installed, they will be able to upload directly the files through Boxcryptor, and they will make sure that the data is encrypted. On the 3 dots that are available here, you have several options which are relevant to the work with the data. Something that I find really useful is, for example, the copy link feature that we have here, which comes into use. For example, if I, instead of saying to one of my colleagues, hey, I have uploaded the balance sheet, you can find it in the Boxcryptor channel app. Instead of doing this, I can go ahead and directly paste the link to the balance sheet in the channel so that my colleagues would directly find it. And the third place where Boxcryptor is available is as a messaging app here at the bottom. So when you click the icon, you have 2 options. The first is to upload encrypted files, the same as I have already explained with the channel app. So it's really nothing different than what you used to work with on daily basis when you're uploading data. So let me just choose any test file that I have on my side so that you would see how the operation goes. So Boxcryptor encrypts it directly. And now I will be able to not just upload the file in my channel, but also share the fact with the rest of the team, which are part of my channel. So now everybody that is here as a user within this channel can go ahead and access this encrypted data. In case I also want to send some sensitive message, let's say message containing some contact details or something like that. So I can also use the send encrypted message option by Boxcryptor. I can write a subject. It is not necessary and it is not going to encrypt it, but the message itself, yes. So let's say I can write here contact details, and the message will be encrypted. and now I get the option to send it. So this is possible when you are using the messaging app either directly in the channel or in a one-on-one chat. What is really useful for you to know when you're working with the Boxcryptor for Teams app is that you can also add external users and guests so that you can have the secure collaboration with them as well. All they need to do is they need to have a Boxcryptor user account as well. That can be done either from you, so you can provide them with a user seat from your team account with Boxcryptor, or you can, or they already have a Boxcryptor account from their own organization. So just to show you, for example, in my channel, I do have a guest here. Jane is my guest, and every file that I share or message that I share here in the channel, Jane is also able to access it. So that's it with the Boxcryptor for Teams app. It's really simple, and it's made to make sure that even the data that you are exchanging within your chats or channels on Teams is also protected with the same level of encryption as the Boxcryptor software provides you with. So this is everything related to the Boxcryptor usage from a user point of view. But let's say, what do we do when you are the administrator of the team account, and how do you manage everything related to Boxcryptor? So now I will sign into my administrator account so that I can show you the features that are available over there. So once you sign in, first of all, you will see your individual space, so you can distinguish the accounts from the different colors. So you have a green for your individual account, and you go to the manage organization section here on the left side. And now you're looking at the team account where you are the administrator. And it's, as I said, with a different color. So this one is blue. Right on the top, what you would immediately see upon logging into the team account, into your administrator team account, is the master key. This is really an important feature, something that more or less you shouldn't work without it, and I will tell you why. So as I mentioned in the beginning, we, as a vendor, we don't know what kind of a password do you or your users set for the Boxcryptor accounts. So in the case of a user forgetting their password and doing a password reset, what will happen is that the account encryption keys will be wiped out, and any data that has been encrypted by this user won't be accessible anymore. So you might think, okay, but the user has shared the access to the files, and then the other team members will reshare the access once again with this person. That is correct, but we have a problem when the user has encrypted some data and hasn't shared it with anybody else. So this data will become not accessible in the case of losing the password and doing a password reset. So this is why you would use the master key in order to do a password reset on behalf of your team members without them losing access to the encrypted data. So the master key itself is like a wrapper on top of all of the user keys for your team account. And this is why you have the option to do the password reset without your member losing access to the encrypted data. This is the first use case. And the second use case is once again connected to the situation that I have explained. Person on your team might be encrypting data which without sharing access to this data to anybody else. And if this person leaves and you don't know their password, this data also can't be accessed. So in this case, also the master key comes into play, and you can use it in order to decrypt any files that your team members have encrypted, regardless if they have shared the access permissions with anybody or not. The next section is the users section. So this is the place where you are going to add everybody that needs to work with the encrypted data from your team. And this is the place also where you can make somebody else an administrator. Here on the 3 dots, the second option is grant administrator rights. So this is something that we actually recommend, because in managing a team account, if you are the only person that has the administrator rights, there might be some days, for example, when you're on a vacation or by some reason you are not able to act upon something. And if you have another person which is also an administrator, you can let the other person undertake any action on your behalf. So with making another person an administrator, it means that they will also have access to the master key. And currently the administrators with Boxcryptor have the same permission level. So anything that you're able to do, the other administrator will be able to do. And in future, we are going to introduce also different administrator levels. You also have here the option to disable a user account. You would do this in the case of, let's say, somebody leaving the organization, so that the person wouldn't have access to your company data anymore. Or if you had a case where you had a few team members which were working on a project that was only 6 months, and then after the expiration of the 6 months, the people won't need access to the encrypted data anymore, so you will use the disable option. Let's say if you had like 5 people and you disable their user accounts, you get 5 user seats back, which you can assign to other team members or external collaborators. So you see, we also have the delete option, but the recommendation is to go first with the disable option, because if you go ahead and choose the delete option, you will also delete the set of encryption keys that is connected to the user. And that means that in this case, you can't even use the master key to decrypt any data which might have been left from this user. Once again, coming back to the situation with them encrypting data without sharing it with anybody else. So our recommendation is first to disable the user, because when you disable a user account, it's not being counted towards your number of user seats. And once you are sure that there is no data that is being left encrypted under this account, you can go ahead and delete. This is the place where you can also import a list of users by, let's say, creating a CSV file. You just need an email address, first name, last name, and that would be it. You can also connect your user directory. And what we do offer for the enterprise plans, where the minimum number of users is 50, is also single sign-on. So everything that is related with the users management and their authentication is going to happen through your identity provider. And there is also the option to activate SSIM, which makes sure that any groups that you have on your Active Directory will be also copied to your Boxcryptor enterprise account, and also any change that you make on your Active Directory groups will be reflected to your Boxcryptor team account. So in the single sign-on case, you won't have to do this twice, once on your Active Directory side and then once again on your Boxcryptor administrator account. The next step is the groups section. So this is the place where you specify the team members which will be part of the groups. So the groups that I mentioned initially when I was talking about the access permissions here directly that you are setting on a file or a folder. I said that you can add either the individual users to be able to access the data or directly groups. So this is the place in the web app where you create the groups and where you're able also to manage these groups. You can create groups for your different teams, finance, HR, management, etc. Or let's say if you have team members working on different projects and they need to access specific data related to their project, you can also use the groups feature for the projects as well. The next section is the policies section. So this is really an extensive opportunity for you to use as an administrator. There are many policies which you can apply for your team account. One friendly tip from our side is whenever you set a policy, especially any of the restriction policies that are available here, you should exclude yourself as an administrator so that in case of a need to come back and amend the policy, you will be able to sign into your administrator account. Otherwise, there are many opportunities that you have with the different policies. So this is something that you can check out also in the company trial with Boxcryptor. I will show you where exactly to get that. And you can play around with all of the policies. And the best part is that any configuration that you set up during the trial will be available for you to keep it upon licensing the team account. Okay, so we're almost at the end of the administrator account. So right at the bottom, you have the options to see the activities. So the activities are showing you the logs of what's happening in the web app, what are the users doing in the web app. So whenever they sign into their accounts on our website, or anything that they do with the Boxcryptor client software. So you would see logs like who has signed into the account, location, date, etc. And for example, if you're an administrator and you add or remove users or do something with the group, so this will be also reflected here. What you won't see as part of the activities is anything related with the file sharing. So because Boxcryptor doesn't have any access to your data, the data that you encrypt with it, so there is no way for us to show you things like which files have been encrypted, who has access permissions, etc. So this is technically not available for Boxcryptor, and this is why Boxcryptor is not displaying anything like that here. Otherwise, you still have the option, for example, to choose a specific user if you want to see what was the user behavior, and you can also choose a specific activity and the time period of the logs which you want to explore, and then export them in different formats. And just as an example, place them in your CM for further analysis. And then back at the sections, so right at the end, it will be the billing information. This is the place where you will see what kind of team license do you have, or if you have an ongoing trial, until when it is valid. So that's it, everything related to the administrator account with Boxcryptor. Let me go back to the website and show you where you can get your trial. So once you visit our Teams section, you see the start free trial option directly at the top. And what you get is 14 days of the company plan with Boxcryptor. So anything that I have just shown you today, like the Boxcryptor software, encrypting the data, sharing the access permissions. You also get access to Wisply when you want to share the files with external users. And you can also install the Boxcryptor for Teams app in order to check out how the usage works with encrypting the data in Teams. So literally every feature is available for you to check out for 2 weeks, and there is no limit on the number of users. So let's say if you want to include 10, 15, 20 people, as long as they have a chance to participate in the testing, you can add them as users and do the testing together, as well as give a chance to your team members to see how they would work with an encryption solution in future. The team plans are in steps by 5, with the company 5 being the smallest plan available, and you have 2 types of subscriptions to choose from, either 1 year or 3 years, depending on your preferences. So we also have the pricing available on our website. You can directly visit the pricing section and you can get more information. So that was it. I would like to thank you for your attention today. And in case you might have some questions, I will be sending out the recording of this webinar and you can let me know. Thank you once again for participating, and have a nice day or evening, depending on where you have joined me today from. Bye.